Today we're excited to meet Dr. Dwi Wulandari, the team coordinator for Team Indonesia and a dedicated professional appointed by the Ministry of Education to help the team gain the best results at the international level. Indonesia has been one of our longest standing partners. It has joined us back in 2018, and from the very inception, it has gained amazing results. Now the team has over 20 medals, 28 to be exact, and 2 silver trophies of the competition. Wulan, it's a real pleasure to meet you today.
Nice to meet you too, Anna. It's really good that we can share our Indonesian experience in the IEO. Thank
Yeah,
you for inviting me.
thank you for coming. You joined us in 2018, but as I know, your competition had been existing for
Mhm.
12 years by that moment because it was launched in 2006. How did it come that Indonesia had created this contest so early?
Yeah, because in Indonesia, we have what we so-called Olympiad Science Nasional, or we say it National Science Competition. So it's like before the economic considered science, there has been other like physics, biology, mathematics. So we are like the latest comer to the competition. So in Indonesia, this competition are built way before the economics participate in this competition. So when economics become one of the subject in Indonesia, it really, you know, it can make children more engaged because like the real science, the science is only for the science kids. We call it IPA, Ilmu Pengetahuan Alam. But there are also social science kids that cannot join the competition. But since we have economy, now all of those kids can also participate.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. So, as far as I can understand, school competitions are a popular thing in your country, right?
Oh yeah, we have lots of competition. For example, right now I'm in Jakarta with the Minister of Education. We are talking about redesigning of all the international competition that we participated, and it's not only the nine international competition of the science, but we also have other competition, and it's a lot, like maybe 20 or 30 competitions for the national only, and we still have competitions at every level. So yeah, we are very competitive actually.
Well, that's perfect. I think it helps to support talent development in your country. And by the way, I learned that you have the whole national program for talent management, right? So the government
Yeah.
really supports these initiatives.
Yes. Yes, so we have under the Minister of Education, we have Balai Pengembangan Talenta Nasional. It means we are looking for a national talent in any field. There are so many fields there, and the competition is all year long. And after that, the highest score in the national competition will go to Pusat Prestasi Nasional. It's the National Achievement National Achievement Center. Yeah, so and they will be guided to go for the international competition.
If
Yeah,
there,
so our government cares about us a lot.
yeah, that sounds amazing. But why is it so interested in supporting the talents? Because it's not a typical thing for many countries. Sometimes they just secure the education, but then everything connected to the Olympiads sometimes is funded by private organizations. In your situation, the government is the major stakeholder for the
Uh-huh.
Olympiad. So why
Yeah.
so?
Yeah, I think it's because we have right now under the Minister of Education there are three types of ministers. So of course, we have the one that goes with all the education to make education equal, but we also have the one who try to find the best talent because we believe that human resources is very important for the growth of our country. Yeah, that is why we try to find these talents since they are very young. For example, we also have Olympiads for elementary schools. So you can start it since very young. Most of the kids that are good in national competition at the high school level, they already participate since elementary school. And our government also believes that by improving these skills, even though there are not many people from one region or one province, it still can inspire other. So, for example, if you have someone from your province goes to the national level, which is it's very hard. For example, because you live like like near to the woods or jungle, you see we have lots of that. But they can see one person goes for the national competition and they can go back and tell, oh, so this is what happened when I was at the capital city. It can inspire everybody to work harder, to study harder, so they can be one of the kids that have a good talent. So I
Mhm.
think that is why our government cares a lot about, managing the talents of our kids, because we have many talents, but sometimes it cannot be discoverable if there are no thing from the government.
Yeah, I see. Totally agree. But so in this case, the major motivation for the contestants is to travel to like the major city to get this experience of on-site participation, or are there
Mm-hmm.
other benefits that they gain from
Oh, mm-hmm.
the Olympiads?
Yeah, of course there are other benefits like scholarship. Yeah, most of them goes for the scholarship and the money reward. You see, we have it's quite a lot of money if you win the national competition. So for example, if you have gold medal at the Science Olympiad for the national level, you will get 25 million. Okay, sounds a lot, but actually well 25 millions is quite a lot. For example, it could have like your mom's 5 months salary. Yeah, it's a lot, right? Yeah, that is why they go for the reward, and they can also go for the scholarship, because most of the kids that goes into the national or international level, they can have any university they want in the world, and our government will also pay for that. So yeah, that's the motivation, I think.
Oh, that's amazing. But don't the government lose those talents to other countries in this situation when they sponsor their education in abroad?
Yeah, but when they come back, they will go and build Indonesia. There are some what is it, regulation that you have to go
Mm.
back if we pay your education. Yeah, there are regulation actually. So they can get the benefit of the knowledge from abroad, but they have to go back and build the country.
Yeah, sounds very reasonable. Well, very good. And what about the universities? Are they also interested in detecting talents? Because, well, in some situations, there are two types of competing Olympiads. Some of them are hosted by the government, the major ones, they give the majority of benefits. And also, there is a separate track where the universities host their own competitions to also detect students who have, well, special skills in this or that sphere. So is it a typical story for your country as well, or is it just, well, a governmental monopoly?
Oh, well, actually, if you are, for example, in the economy, because what I really know is in the economy. So if you participate at the national level and you become the best 30, yes, you can enter the best university, which is in our case is University of Indonesia, one of the best university. You can enter the best university by using your certificates from the competition actually. But other big university also held their own Olympiads in any types of things. So you see, these kids, if they are good in national level, and if we take them and train them for the international level, while doing all of these things, they would participate in any competition that is held by the university, so they can get the reward, of course. So they become like participants in many universities. Sometimes I also met them when I become like a host judges in one of the university, because sometimes they ask me to be one of their judges, and I found the same kids. Oh, so when they are very interested in economy, they will participate in the national level of competition, but also at the competition held by the university itself. It's a different part of our competition, but there are so many competitions in Indonesia. Even not only the economic competition, but also business case competition. It is separately. Yeah, so and we also have accounting competition. We also have the financial literacy competition. So there are many competitions. So when they become one of our contestant, they even go to national level and be the best in national. They can still go to other competition, and they can choose to
Mhm.
go to which university.
So in general, economics and well, economics related subjects are quite popular in Indonesia.
Yes, yes, it's very popular.
Okay, yeah, that sounds amazing. And I know that you have more than 30,000 of participants annually.
Mhm.
And how did you reach that amazing number?
Oh, because it's very prestigious for every school to join the national Olympiads. So every school, it's private or public, will participate in any kinds of field, not only the economy. It also goes for other subjects. You see, so actually we don't really have to announce everything. Everything is at the Puspresnas website. All of the schools can access that, so they know when they have to apply, and most of them are applying because like this is their chance. If you win the national competition, you will put your students photo in front of your schools, and it will become an appealing thing for parents to put their kids at that school. So it's like a promoting things for school. The
Yeah.
highest medal school can have the best inputs of students, because the parents of these students will try to go to that school. So it will also make the grades are better and the quality is better. So I think there are what we so-called multiplier effect. Like if you participate in this competition and your children is doing good, it is a promotion for you. You will get a better input of student, and then you will increase your other grades, and you become a bigger and bigger. So I think that's the motivation. That is why even though we don't really promote anything, they will participate.
Yeah. Well, a very nice situation, a very nice atmosphere for developing a contest. But do you students apply as part of the school? So the school needs to apply for their
uh
students. Can they also register
yes.
individually?
No, nobody can register individually. It should be from the school. The school has to, because like we also have the Department of Education in every province, Department of Education in every cities. So every school has to be part of them, right? That is why everything should be legal from the school. So we don't take any individual participation. The school has to assign these kids to
Mm-hmm.
the competition.
Mm-hmm. I see. Yeah. Well, a nice way to control the things to make sure that
Mhm.
everyone belongs to this or that particular school. And you've got four levels of the competition, right? You start at the Regency level and then you proceed to the national,
Oh,
right?
yes, yeah. So the school has inside competition first to assign children. There are maximum of five children for every school, and then they have to compete at the city level.
Mm-hmm.
If you can win at the city level, all of the five can win. Actually, if the grades are very good, but mostly after five, maybe it becomes four or three, and then those kids will have to compete at the provincial level.
Mm-hmm.
There are maximum three kids for each school. So it will go with the equality, the kind of thing. And then after the provincial level, they will go to the national level. So for example, if there are 32,000 kids at the beginning level, at the city level, there will be about 1,300, 1,200 kids at the provincial level, and there will be 100 kids at the national level. From 100 kids, there will be 30 kids who gets the medals, and the 30 kids can go to our training for the international competition.
I see. Well, sounds very structured.
Mhm.
And do you notice any particular, well, some gaps where students from this particular region can't ever go to the national level because the level of education is, well, lower than
Mhm.
in other parts?
Okay, at the national level, we got 100 participants, but every province has to have one person
Mm.
to compete. So at first we selecting it by at first the first best from every province. So we have 34, and the rest of we make the rankings out of that. So every province will have somebody to be mm, their what we so call it
Representative.
representative. Yeah, every province will have their representative at the national level. But of course, for example, like this, if you live in East Java, it's my province. If you live in East Java and maybe your grades is 85, you will not pass because East Java kids, they have 195, 92. 85 is nothing in East Java. But maybe when you go to Papua, for example, maybe the highest score there is 30. So you have to take the one who gets 30. Even though in other province, even 85 will not make it to the national level. Uh, it is because of we know that our education level is different in each province, and we try to give them a chance because by participating at the national level, they can go back to their province and say, oh, I've already competed with other kids and this is my experience. They can inspire education in their provinces. So there still will be a representative for each province.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. I think it helps to keep the competition balanced and, well,
Mhm.
just really motivate students in those regions that can't, well, pass the general ranking. And, well, do you have any situations when a student from a prosperous region with good education travels back to some other region where the level of education is lower just to pass this selection and go to the national finals because it's easier to compete there?
Mhm. Well, actually, not by purpose, but in Indonesia, we also have ministry or central bank or other company, which the parents will have to move every 1 year or 2 year, and the kids will go with their parents. So sometimes we also find a kid from Papua that is competing at the national level, but she doesn't look like people from Papua. And then we ask, oh, she's actually came from maybe from Jakarta, but the parents now are working in Papua, so she can compete in Papua. Yeah, that's normal, but it's not purposefully. So they just it happened to be they are following their parents to move to other provinces.
Yeah, however, it helps them to climb the ladder. So quite a lucky move on the side of the parents. Okay, so thank you so
Mm.
much. Now I understand better the way the competition gets promoted and the contestants, well, can participate. And as to the composition of the selection, so you've got, I think, five subjects, or I mean, five rounds, sub-rounds of the selection, or
Oh no. From for the national level, now we do exactly the same like what happened at the IEO. So we already did like the last 3 years we tried to make it the same. So
Mhm.
whenever you have like economic tests, the multiple choice and open question, we also have it. We also have a financial literacy game when you have financial literacy game, but last year we changed it into multiple choice question.
Mhm.
This year, sorry, we changed it to multiple choice question because you change it also. And we also have business case presentation, so we do exactly the same as what happened at the IO. because we want candidates that already understand about what happened at the national competition level. But before that, we have many other things that is at the national level. Please remember, it is because our competition was first happened before the international competition. Yeah.
Mhm. And as to the preliminary stages, do you have some other formats, or is it also multiple choice questions in economics or something like that? I mean, the school level, then the province level, are they
Mhm.
different or the
Oh,
same?
yeah. Yeah, if at the city level, we have multiple choice question, 50% in English and 50% in our language, Bahasa. We ask about economics and financial literacy there. And then at the province level, we have multiple choice question and also an open question. It's 60% in English, 40% in Bahasa. And then for the national level, we have multiple choice question and open question, but it's 80% in English. So that is why when we compete at the international level, we make sure that they have already have a basic in English. So their English must be good. If not, you're not going to go because we have many options, right? There are many students who participate.
Yeah, I see. Well, it's very unusual that you combine two languages within the same paper because normally people either choose, for example, the national language for the first stages and then they launch the English language competition later. But in your situation, you just increase the percentage of English
Mhm.
paper, right? To make sure that they
Yes.
know the language.
Yes, because yeah, it since the very beginning of the competition, we always use that kind of option because we need to know that these kids are also good in English because we believe that many question at the IEO is actually not a very hard question if you understand English. Since English is not our first language, we need to make sure that these kids have an like have a good understanding in English. Yeah. And in Indonesia, even the schools sometimes are in dual language. Like my daughter, she studied in a school with the Cambridge based. So she speaks English from a very early age. Most of the private school in Indonesia use English as their daily language.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that's good that English literacy is high, helps a
Mm-hmm.
lot with the selection and, well, just in any area of life. Okay, that sounds amazing. And I could figure out from our discussion that the major format of the competition is on-site, right? Students always compete in person.
Yeah, but since the pandemic, for the city and province level, it's still online, but we use proctoring and every other thing to make sure that everything is equal for all of them. So we have rules, but still because of the budget right now, the city level and province level is conducting online. But sometimes there are people from the ministry that have random sampling goes to any area to make sure that this is conducted properly. So we do the monitoring kind of thing. But at the national level, we will ask all of the 100 students to participate in the city that is designed for the competition. Because like I told you, we are a very wide country, and even just asking 100 students to travel, it costs a lot of money because they came from various places and it's quite far from the capital city. So that is why our budget only goes for the 100 goes on site.
Mm-hmm. And the final stage is always in the capital.
Actually, like after the pandemic, I would say yes, or near the capital. For example, our capital city is Jakarta. Before that, we have in Bogor. It's only like a few kilometers from Jakarta. But before the pandemic, actually, we conducted in various provinces. There will always be one province that is designated for the competition, and we prepare that whole year long for the province. For example, for the transportation, or is there any airline available, a hotel and everything. Because we before the pandemic, all the national competition from the elementary level, junior high school and high school are together in one place. So it's a very it's a very huge kind of show. Our minister will also go there also. But after the pandemic, we still focus in Jakarta because once again it's about the budget. We still like reorganizing the budget.
Yeah. I had another question about proctoring. What kind of proctoring are you using? Is that
Okay. Okay, so at the province level, we when the kids are participating in the competition, they have to do like a double camera, and there are also other people from other school that become the one who look at the competition. What is that?
invigilators? Proctor or
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah, like the people who looked at the at on site, but we have somebody at the capital city. We all together going to capital city and see all of the people at the Zoom. You know
Mhm.
what I mean, right? Yeah.
I don't understand, of course.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so that's what we do with the proctoring. So there are double monitoring.
Mhm.
Like in the place when they do that, they have a monitor, people who monitor things. Yeah. And we also have people who monitor things like at the Zoom.
Yeah, so double checking.
Yeah, double checking.
Yeah, amazing. And so you primarily use Zoom, right, to establish this kind of.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And
So,
also for the competition, we use Moodle. Do you know Moodle? Like the one
sure.
yeah.
I think it's just the same tool that we use for our
Mm-hmm.
competition. Yeah. I think we can actually recommend it to other countries if they want to launch, well, an easily manageable system,
Mm-hmm.
then Moodle would fit them. Especially it will fit the budget because it's an open
Mm-hmm.
system. So yeah, anyone can actually install it and use it uh,
Mm-hmm.
for free. Okay, and as to the tasks, you're an economics professor at
Mm-hmm.
the University of Malta. So could you
Mm-hmm.
tell me what kind of tasks do you find personally most effective in detecting the best economists?
Okay, well, actually, we have the same syllabus like what you have at the IEO. So of course, we divide our team. For example, I will go with the microeconomics task, and then my friend will go with the macroeconomics, and we tried. So before the real competition, we always have a meeting. There are many members of my team, so each of make a task and then we would review because we also use taxonomy bloom. So at the beginner level, oh, it's okay if you only C1, C2 or C3, but when the level is increasing, we want to go from C4 up above, like we use that also. So actually, if I want to know whether a kid's understand economics or not, we already give the syllabus to every teacher in the country because actually high school student didn't really study that. It's kind of different. The curriculum of the IO or the books of or the books of MenQ or the core economics is quite different from what they learned at the high school level. So we always say to the teacher that this competition, the goal of this competition not to understand your high school level of economic, no, but we are looking for candidates to participate at the international competition. So most of these kids, the winner of this competition, actually not studying this economics only in school. We have they in every city there are, we call it courses, yeah. There are people who has courses in economics, and they participate. So because our environment is very competitive, so actually sometimes these children will also have an instructor of economy or literacy go to their school, or they will participate in other courses outside the school because it's not enough if it's only at the school. So how I know that this kids has a good understanding in economy. We give them the syllabus first. They can learn from the syllabus, and then we will have task for them. And by looking at their answer, we know this is potential, and we can go next to the other level.
So open questions in this case, or
Not
multiple.
only yeah, multiple choice and open question. It's yeah, we also look for the kids with the good mathematics. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because I know that quantitative is always one of the part in international competition. So we have mathematician in our team. So you name it, and we have, like, we have professional who already talk about business, to provide the business case situation. We also have people from the central bank. We also have people from the stock market. Well, actually, even if it's only a competition in economy, we have many experts inside of our team. So that is how we find the task that is best suitable for the kids.
Well, very good. Yeah, I think that it helps you a lot to build the best selection paper possible.
Mhm.
But do you start with the tasks that are understandable for the contestants at the school level, and then you just increase the hardness of the
Mhm.
examination paper, or do you start immediately with the syllabus itself, like even the hardest parts? Do you include everything to the very first stage of the selection?
Well, actually, for the topics we include the syllabus. So we don't know if it's them or not at the high school level, but we already give you the syllabus, so study the syllabus. So for the topics, yes, it goes directly to the syllabus. But for the harder part, we only put that at the national, because like I told you previously, the hardest part will go at the national level, where in taxonomy bloom we have the task from C4 up above, but at the city or provincial level, we still ask about, for example, uh what do you know about central, or which policy that conducted by central bank, and then you give the multiple choice, because they have to know which policy conduct by central bank, or which policy conduct by the minister of finance, which policy conducted by the financial service authority. They have to understand that first. Yeah, so we use the syllabus from the very beginning, but the hard level we put it at the national level.
I see. That's amazing. You mentioned lots of specialists, and they come from different fields of,
Mhm.
well, not life, but careers. They have different careers. And that makes me think that doing the Olympiads is a part-time job for all of you, right? For
Yes.
jury members, the problem committee. But is it a year-round activity, or do you just seasonally join the program to develop the tasks and, well, grade them? What's
Oh, okay. Yeah, so yeah, it is a part-time job for all of us, but for the coordinator like me, this is a year-long process, because we start, for example, right now at October, we already finished the national training for the 2025 IEO. So we just finished the national training. So now we will have 10 candidates, 10 best candidates. And then at January we will go for the second training. We also go with the national competition to select a new kids for the others. So it's a year long for me, because like I have to prepare the kids that will have to go to the IO, but I also have to prepare for the selection process at the national level. But it is helped by the people from the Minister of Education. So it's not a problem. I'm just like the thinker, and they will do all the technical things.
Well, selecting teams so much in advance is actually something new to me. I've never heard of, well, anyone knowing the names of the candidates for the international final that early. So, what's the schedule of the contest actually? When do you start? And when?
Oh, okay. At January, we start asking the school to select the kids for the city level. In March, we will have the city level. In May, we will have the provincial level.
Mhm.
In July, we will have the national level. But all of these kids are kids that will participate at the next IO,
Mhm.
at next year IO, because after they finish the national level at July or sometimes at August, it depends on the government calendar because we have fasting month. Yeah, so in fasting month, you will not be able to do anything, right? So
Mhm.
that is why, yeah, sometimes it changes from July to August. And then after that, at October, we will have the first training for the 30 medalists, the 30 best from the national competition. And then after October, we already selected from 30 to 10. In January, we will start the second training,
Mhm.
and then in March, we already have their names. Why? Because we need to have visa. Indonesian has to have visa to go everywhere. That is why we have to know their name early, because having the visa is not easy. There are so many paperwork, especially when they are underage. It's quite hard. There are many things that to be prepared. And then we will also have another training, sometimes online. It depends on the government budget, but if the budget is not suitable for offline, we will have it online. And before the departure, for example, if we depart at the 22nd of July, so it means since the 12th of July, we will have another training. So that is how the training goes. So it's like all year long for the kids that are competing at the IO.
Yeah, I see. That's a lot of trainings. And also, I can't understand how you manage to combine the national finals with the International Olympiad, because we also hold the finals in July. So you need to make sure that the national finals are fine, and you also go to the International Economics Olympiad. And possibly it's the fasting month, right? Because you mentioned July, August.
No, the fasting month will always be different every year, but it's right now it's about April, I think. I'm not sure. It's March or April. So at the fasting month we stopped and then we go again for the other training. Yeah. But how to balance that? That is why we have a whole team and a whole schedule, because this is not our main job, right?
Mhm.
That is why every time I have to ask for their schedule. That is why everything is goes up ahead. So we have a very good schedule to make sure that all the professionals can go for the trainings and can go for the selection. Sometimes we do that like both. For example, while we are making a task for the national level, we also have to prepare for the international level. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe yeah. One of the good things of Indonesian are we are very good at multitasking. So we do many things at one time.
A very useful skill, I'd say, especially in your context. And
Mhm.
well, you've got so many professionals, but do you recruit volunteers to facilitate all the activities that you hold? I mean, the national final, even for a 100 contestants, it requires lots of resources and human resources as well. Do you
Mhm.
recruit people who voluntarily do their job, or do you recruit someone and you pay them some salary?
Oh yeah, the Minister of Education already recruited. Usually it's the alumni from the last year competition. Uh, but it's, yeah, the Minister of Education pays for everybody. So it pays for we call it the assistant of the competition. There are also the liaison officer of the competition. But everybody is paid, so no volunteers. The Minister of Education has the budget for everything, even for the teachers or schools, because sometimes we do the competition at schools. One of the school, the Minister of Education pays for everything at the school.
Well, that sounds amazing. I like this budget strategy. I think it helps a lot to, well, ease in everything connected to the organization, because it's
Mhm.
normally a huge headache, well, to everyone, and to secure the venue. Well,
Yeah,
it's
I think we are very lucky because of the support of the Minister of Education. I know that the other countries may not experience what we are experiencing, but in Indonesia, uh, government budget in education is, it's quite a lot, and they also put it at this competition level, even though they also like for the equality to build school, to improve the curriculum, but they care a lot about the competition. So most of the time budget was never really the constraint of our competition. It is about finding the right kids. It is the challenge. Yeah.
Mhm. And you've mentioned the series of trainings. So how do you detect who among those 30 contestants will go to the
Mm-hmm.
international final? So you've got, I've counted 4 training sessions, but probably there are more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, we, even though at the training, we also have evaluation for them every day. So every instructor has to report. They have a daily report of what kind of quiz they use or what kind of test they use. So it's also about testing and also about like building a team. So most how we find the contestant after all of the session of training, we will put our grades and then we will sit together and talk about the grades and talk about the possibility who is going to the next level, who still has the potential, or who just, oh, so this is enough for this kid. We cannot improve them anymore, so we will not take them to the next level. And also we also have a psychologist, the one who showed what happened from the mentality. We will have it like at the next level. Whenever the kids goes to 10 kids, we will have a psychologist evaluation to find the best 5.
Whoa, that's quite new. I've never heard of a psychologist to detect some soft skills, I guess, right? And also the
Uh-huh. Yeah,
capability.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
What are
Because what happened, yeah, because what happened is sometimes the kids are performing very good, but whenever we fly to a very, yeah, Indonesia always fly like 13, 14, 15 hours, right? Unless that it's in Hong Kong because we only flew for 5 hours, but mostly we fly like a very long hours, and then sometimes even though they're very good here, but when they find other kids, like they have English speaking countries kids, they are very confident. Sometimes the confidence of our kids are going down, and they say that they would look at the computer at the IEO. They would look at the computer and they find it like a blank. They
Mhm.
just feel it like a blank. So yeah, that is why we put we put this psychologist evaluation for the mentality, because they're good, but if the mentality is not that strong, maybe they will have a breakdown at the first, because we experience that. Sometimes kids are very good, but you take them to other country, it's a long flight, it's tiring, the food, they don't like the food or anything, they cry every day, and boom, it's just go down. Yeah, that
Yeah.
is why.
So for your contestants, the competition actually never ends, as I can understand now, because they need to present to perform well during the trainings. Then they will need to
Mhm.
pass this psychologist test. I think everyone who survived till the psychologist is actually quite stress resilient already. But that's
Oh yeah.
you imply this
Yeah.
part of a system.
Mhm. Yeah, maybe you still remember in Greece, like uh we flew for 16 hours, and then the weather is 44 degrees, right? And then my kids still show there with their suits for the business case, and I was like, wow, you're so strong. And actually the food, they cannot stand the food actually, because that is not the food that we used to eat in Indonesia, but they survive. Like, okay, so the most important thing is for me to gain energy, so they have a very good mentality. So it was one of the best team that we ever created. We did not expect to have that, that many gold. We have 3 golds, right? If you still remember at the Greece. So we try to find those kind of kids, like the one who survived, all the challenges in competition, because sometimes it's not only about the task, but it's about the environment. Yeah, we always try to give them motivation that maybe it's not about how smart you are in economics or not, but it's your mentality. If you have a strong mentality, you will find this task easier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, actually, in this, you coincide with the opinion of David Hodges from the United Kingdom because he believes that his team did so well at the business case part because they slept enough, slept more than anyone at the IEO. And so he believes that that's because they had this rest, they managed to present well.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, sometimes something besides the actual knowledge helps you win the contest
Mm-hmm.
from
Mm-hmm.
people. Things that contribute to your success. Amazing. And well, among all of that, what would you name the strongest trait, the strongest characteristic of your national selection that helps you bring success to the country?
Oh, okay. So the strongest traits, first is they have to be very literate, in words and number, like that. Yeah. Because if you have that kind of kids, when you give them knowledge, they still can absorb the knowledge, like they will go on improving. But sometimes there are kids that look good in economic, but actually their scholastic is not very high, so they're good because of the treatment they've already get. So that is why when you ask them to go to another level, even though you add all of the knowledge, they will not go up like that. So that is why we think the greatest traits that a kid can have is they have to have a high scholastic uh level. And then the second one is they have to have the mentality to be a winner, because yeah, this is the one that is very hard. Sometimes I see kids that are elected for the next competition level, and they came to me and say, why do you choose me? Because I think somebody else is smarter than me. So this is the part when I get very worried, because they are not even sure with themselves. So we have to build their motivation that if I choose you, it means you are the best. Now you just have to prove that you are really the best. Yeah. So I think that is the biggest trait. And then in economics, unlike other competition in science in Indonesia, one of the thing that you have to have in economics is a good communication skill. Yeah, that is why our kids always have a good communication skill. They can, they can hang out with everybody and they can accept everybody, because that is how we have it in economics. It's quite different with other science things, because sometimes they are not focusing on that, but we do focusing on their communication skill, because that's how they can make it at all the level of competition.
Well, that sounds completely reasonable. Thank you very much for such an extended reply. So I understand better your strategy. I think that our listeners and readers as well. Uh, well, speaking of the negative sides of the selection, could you name some of the mistakes that you've committed during the preparation or the examination? Were there any negative experience instances that you would like to share to warn others to avoid them?
Oh, okay. So sometimes when things got very busy, because like I told you, we are busy with everything. Sometimes we are focusing on the grades and we are not talking about any other than grades. This is our biggest mistakes, because sometimes grades can be deceiving, right? Yeah, sometimes it doesn't show their real potential. For example, like maybe they happen to understand the chapter and then they get good grades on the chapter. Yeah. That is why for it's been many years that we really sit together and talk about every kids truly. Not only because of the grades, we talk about the attitude, we talk about their personality, we talk about how they interact in classroom. Because sometimes grades can be deceiving, yeah. But there are times when we are very busy, so I just say, okay, put your grades all together and we make the average, and then we made the wrong decision. So I think you should avoid that kind of decision.
So be more humane, I think, right? Right, rather
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
numbers. Well, sounds great. And just to finalize our talk, could you please
Mhm.
give top three probably advice or just one general advice to anyone willing to start the national selection in their country or already working on one? So what would you recommend to people who launch the Olympiad in the country?
Okay. First of all, you have to make the subject presentable. So you have to make them understand why it is important to participate in this competition, because not many people understand why is it very important. For me, I started with talking to many teachers all over Indonesia, and I also helped by the central bank. The central bank give fundings for us to talk about how it is very important to have a high economic and financial literacy. So even if your students are participating and they are not winning anything, they still get the knowledge that they can use for their daily lives, because economics is a study of choice. It's making the right decision for your life. That is why this competition is very important, not only for you to become a winner, but also for you to use the knowledge in your daily life. So I think everybody who wants to start the national competition have to explain this to the public, so that the public wants to join them for the competition.
Yeah, thank you so much. A wonderful piece of advice. We'll certainly share it with the community. And in general, I wanted to thank you for the talk that we've had. That was just amazing. And we've got so many, personally, I've got so many insights on how the competition can be held and what can be implemented to select the best performing students. So I'll take this experience with me and I will share it with others as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you very much. So just let me know if you need anything else. I would be very happy to help.
Thank you.